Hello my frugal friends, welcome back to our place for another budget video. This is our second month on the road, so our budget is a little bit different, but I'm going to share our numbers with you, let you guys know how we're doing, and also just catch you up on where we are and what we've been doing. So we are camped up here at a lovely little free camp in Binalong, New South Wales. We are right on the recreation field here. It's footy field behind us. Over the back, if I just turn really slowly and try not to make everybody get super dizzy, there is a playground, there's a skate park, there's a pool here in summer. If you're here in the warmer months, it is absolutely freezing here at the moment, so no swimming for us. But this is an amazing little free camp, donation camp out here at Binalong. It's about half an hour away from Yass in New South Wales, and we've been here for a couple of days. But before we got here, we've had an absolutely crazy month. We have been up in Sydney, catching up with friends and family. Charlotte and I went to Moulin Rouge. We've had a great time. Our budget for this month is a little bit more, or our expenses I should say, are a little bit higher than usual, but we'll go through all of that when we sit down and take a look at the numbers. So why don't we head inside and have a look at how August panned out for us. Alright, well let's jump in and have a look at how we went for the month of August. So one of the big things that has changed for us is the amount of fuel that we're using. So our fuel budget has gone up quite a bit over the last couple of months. That, coupled with the fact that the price of fuel has gone up, has definitely pushed up our fuel budget. So at the moment we're allocating $700 a month for groceries and $750 for fuel. For the month of August, we actually went over our fuel budget a little bit, and we've spent almost $800 on fuel. Having said that, we have covered 3,100 kilometers, so that, coupled with the fact that we're towing a van, it pretty much evens itself out there. So that's what's going on with our groceries and our fuel allocation. We are allocating $400 a month for accommodation, and again this month our accommodation was a little bit higher because we were in Sydney, so we had 2 weeks of paid accommodation, staying at caravan parks and out in the national park just outside of Sydney, which has pushed up our accommodation budget more than what it usually is. So ordinarily we like to free camp or low cost camp as much as possible, but when you get into certain areas there isn't a lot of option other than the old caravan park, and that was certainly the case up in Sydney. So we did the best that we could. We knew that it was coming up, so we had already put some money aside in a sinking fund to cover that, but our accommodation costs, hopefully moving forward, won't be this high on average each month. We didn't need to fill up any gas bottles, so that was an expense for us, but we are finding that we're using a bit more of our mobile internet being on the road, so we have increased one of our phone plans, which is reflected here, and then in the coming months I will allocate more for our phones and internet in our monthly budget. Medical, didn't have any expenses there, so that just goes into a sinking fund and keeps accumulating there. I like to cap our medical sinking fund at $300, so once it gets up to $300 I will stop putting in $50 each month, and then once we use it and I need to refill it, I just start putting the $50 back in. Same with gifts and special occasions, and I did have to get some gifts this month, so we have cleaned that one out. Now, this is where things really start to get interesting. Obviously, being in Sydney, there was lots of things that we wanted to do. We did go to Moulin Rouge, Charlotte and I, but those tickets were already purchased, so they actually came out of earlier budgets earlier in the year. But we did do things like we went to the footy. Shannon and I went across and did the ghost tour at the quarantine station, which was awesome. So we did use a bit more of our activities budget this month, just doing those things while we were in Sydney. Also, we were eating out a lot more, catching up with friends. We went to the pub a couple of times and had some drinks. So our eating out budget was also a lot higher than what it normally is. So 221 in eating out was our expenses this month. And 216 for activities. The other thing that was a lot higher this month was our miscellaneous, which I've written down over on this side. But before we go through all of the different bits and pieces in miscellaneous, the other expense that we have is another sinking fund. And every month I put $350 aside into a savings account for all of our car maintenance. So this covers all of our rego, servicing, tyres, all of those sorts of expenses that come up for the car or the caravan. So that's just a nice savings account. And if we need to do anything to either of the vehicles, we always have a bit of money aside to do that. All right. Miscellaneous. There were a lot of expenses this month that we didn't budget for specifically, and that's what miscellaneous budget line is for. All of those bits and pieces that we didn't even know were going to come up. So once we got to Sydney, we remembered we needed to get some Opal passes, some public transport passes, which we hadn't budgeted for. That was $50 for the three of us. The minimum to put on for an adult was $20 and $10 for kids, so that was $50 there we hadn't really budgeted for. Popped into BCF and got some chemicals for the toilet, a mat for our step and bits and pieces like that, $60 there. We also needed to get permits to go into the national parks, and what we decided to do was actually get a 12-month parks pass for $65 rather than getting a daily pass for each day that we're going to go in. That means that we can go into any of the parks in New South Wales except for Kosciuszko. All the other parks are covered now for the next 12 months, so we don't have to pay park passes in any of the other national parks in New South Wales, which is pretty cool because we are thinking about heading to Mungo before the end of the year, hopefully, once it dries out, but before it gets too hot. That's the plan anyways. We also had to pay some tolls because we did come back from the North Shore and we used the tunnel, so $3.45 there to come back to the caravan park. Popped into Kmart and spent $16. We did weigh the van twice at Go Weigh, so we got the printed receipt. That was $35 a pop, so $70 there to weigh the van. Picked up some postage stamps for Charlotte. That I got a book of 10 for $11. She's going to write letters back to family and send some postcards and things like that, which I think is a great idea and is also a great way to get her writing as part of her homeschooling. So happy to do that. Plus we popped into the IGA and got some stationery for her, plus a few other bits and pieces, and I'm pretty sure there might have been a packet of muffins that we ate in the car on the way home. But anyways, that all came out of our miscellaneous allowance. So ordinarily we're looking at around $250 for miscellaneous things that are going to come up. We just haven't specifically budgeted for them. This month, however, we were a little bit over. So our total spend for the month of August was $3,087.85. Now, we did put some additional money into some of our sinking funds and some savings as well, but that was how much we spent. Now, having said that, that didn't come out of all of our August income. We did use some of the money that we had previously put aside into savings and some of our sinking funds to cover some of these costs. All right, so just real quick, we're going to flip over and have a look at September. So again, what we've allocated for each of our spending categories is $700 for groceries, $750 for fuel, $400 for accommodation. I'm going to start putting $15 aside each month to refill the gas bottles. Phones and internet is going to bump up to $105. Medical is $50. Gifts will be $50, clothing $50. These are all sinking funds. I'll just put this money aside until we need it. I don't specifically have anything that I want to buy these months, but I will start saving up. $15 for the laundromat. We do have a washing machine on board, but sometimes we need to dry things, and sometimes we're either not plugged into power and can't use the machine, or there's just no way for us to get it washed and dried quickly enough, so we're going to have to pop into a laundromat. Family fun, eating out, alcohol and activities are all going to get $100 each. The activities is going to become a sinking fund, so we'll start putting $100 aside each month for activities coming up down the track that we want to do. But if we just happen to spur of the moment find something that we want to do, we'll have our family fun allocation of $100 that we can use to do some spur of the moment stuff. We're also going to keep putting the money aside for the car maintenance, and we have our miscellaneous of $250. Now my goal for September, and we'll see how we go, is I really want to get groceries, fuel and miscellaneous under budget, and we're going to put that money aside as additional savings so that we can either maybe do some more activities, maybe we'll have a little bit of spare cash up our sleeve for when we get up, say doing the Gibb River Road and we need to up our groceries a little bit more or something like that. And the other thing that we want to start savings for is some more mods to the car and bits and pieces for the caravan, things like a Weber queue, maybe a generator. All of those sorts of things have to come from savings somewhere, so the next couple of months I am hoping to rein a few of these back in, and we will see how we go. All right, well, there you have it. They were our expenses for August. It's going to be interesting to see how things pan out over the next couple of months as we get used to living in our van full time and traveling around. And I just want to add really quickly, in case you were wondering, we do own our car and our caravan outright, so we don't have any loans or repayments due on any of those things, which definitely helps out with our budget. So everything you saw there are our expenses for the month. So we've had a look at August, we've tallied up all the figures, and we've made a plan for September. If you would like to see how we do in September, whether or not we hit our targets, how much money we can save, then don't forget to hit that little subscribe button down below so you can be notified when my next video comes out, and we'll see how much we can save in September, reining in that grocery budget a little bit, slowing down on the travel, finding some free camps, and maybe not doing quite so many Ks, and see if we can't rein in that fuel budget as well. Well, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope that your August budgets were going smoothly. Let me know in the comments how you guys went with your August budgets. I do love to hear from you guys, so make sure you drop something down there. Let me know what's been happening at your place. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye.